As we speak, Australia are playing a test series in Pakistan after a gap of 24 years. The last time Australia played in Pakistan versus the hosts, that series, Australia won 1-0. It was a 3-test match series. But what is the significance of this particular series? Why is it so important? For that, we'll have to take a look at the timeline of things that transpired from that time in 1998, the last time Australia were touring Pakistan. The next tour that was scheduled, that was in 2002, and that had to be moved from Pakistan to Colombo in the UAE because of a suicide bombing that took place in Karachi. After that, the next tour that Australia was supposed to go to Pakistan for was in 2008, but that was also moved away from the country because of violence on the streets following the general elections in the country. The Australian team aside, in 2009, the terrorist attack that took place on the Sri Lankan team bus that also had an Australian coach in Trevor Bayliss put paid to all international cricket in the country for years. Then Zimbabwe was the first full member nation to return to play in the country following the 2009 bus attack when they played a limited over matches in 2015. Pakistan then hosted Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Bangladesh, South Africa over the last 6-year period. That means international cricket was returning to Pakistan. But big teams were still staying away. Last year, both New Zealand and England pulled out of the limited overs tour to Pakistan due to security concerns. New Zealand abandoned its tour just hours before the toss in that first ODI that was to be played in Rawalpindi. Keeping all of this in mind, the Australian team's tour currently happens to be the first high-profile team that is playing full-fledged test cricket in Pakistan, and that is why this tour is very, very significant. I think you can also not undermine the rule that or the role that PSL, the Pakistan Super League, played in ensuring that these international teams return, because 2017, the final of PSL was played in Pakistan, and I think that was the first step taken in this direction of having international cricket return to Pakistan. But remember, in that 2017 final as well, some big names including Kevin Peterson, Luke Wright, Tamil Mills, they refused to travel, but subsequently things improved because in 2018 Eliminator 1 and Eliminator 2 were played in Lahore, and then the final was played in Karachi. In 2019, that improved to 8 matches that were played in Karachi and the rest were played in the UAE. In 2020, and I think that was a historical moment where all PSL matches, the entire league, was played in Pakistan. In 2021, also the plan was to have the entire league to be played in Pakistan, but then because of the coronavirus pandemic, the league had to be stopped in the middle, and just like you saw with the IPL, matches were moved away from Pakistan, but that was not because of security reasons, because of the coronavirus pandemic that the matches were moved to the UAE. So these are the factors that have gone in to ensuring that cricket returns to Pakistan after that 2009 attack, and more importantly, the Australian team returns to Pakistan after a gap of 24 years.